Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the TexAgs High School Football Show, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Academy has all your high school football road trip needs this season. Get the right gear for the long season with free curbside pickup today at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Hi, everybody. Playoffs rolling right along. Welcome to the TexAgs High School Football Show. I'm Ryan Brauninger. He's Jason Howell. We're presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. This is the last week for you to enter your chance to win a $10,000 Academy gift card plus SEC championship game tickets just by signing into the Academy app. The Ultimate SEC's football sweepstakes runs until November 18th. Again, this is your last week to hop on this promotion here. No purchase necessary. Odds depend on entries received. And you can find the complete rules at academy.com/official-rules. Round one of the playoffs are behind us. There was a lot of weather around the state that impacted games. There were some huge upsets and some really eye-opening scores, Jason. So what were your takeaways from your games in Dallas and then the weekend in Dallas overall?
Well, Thursday was completely under rain and weather conditions. It definitely impacted all throughout the DFW area, and I'm sure it was doing its work down there that way. So Thursday night, I was in Arlington, and I was there to see Martin and Berkner, and Martin got out to an early 14-point lead. Very much controlled on the ground by both teams. The ground attack had to do its work with a steady drizzle. I mean, it wasn't a heavy rain, but it was constant. And by the second half, or the second quarter, even things were the field conditions were we're taking a beating a little bit, and the passing game was just it was hit and miss for sure. But Martin got out, controlled the game from an early point, and never really looked back. Tristan Biddle was back for his first game action in 10 games, and he didn't look like he skipped a beat. Had a couple scores on the night, and then he headed to Texas A&M for his official visit for baseball. So he was pretty excited about that whole deal. And but that Martin team looked really, really strong. Jesse Ford, who I was there to see a 26 defensive end, had a big time 8 tackle, 4 sack performance, was all over the field. He's still working on that strength department, as you'd expect a young D lineman to be, but he definitely he's got that motor. He's got some twitch to him. He's got a huge frame, and he made things happen. Constant pressure. Had a few more hurries throughout the night. Brooks Bergantz was he's an athlete to watch out there at Martin. Has done a tremendous job stepping in at quarterback, running back, and doing a lot of heavy lifting for them this fall as they kind of found their stride in district. And Dalen Cobb, 6 carries for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's not the biggest, but he was like a pinball and super explosive. A 26 running back to watch. Yeah, they advanced to take on Allen this week, so that's going to be a fun little matchup this week. And then Friday night, the weather cleared up, and I got my first chance to see Micah Hudson in person. But Denton Ryan got out first play from scrimmage, took it to the house. Braden Mussett, he's a quarterback athlete, and he's definitely fun to watch. One of the more underrated guys in that 2025 class. I got to keep an eye on as a receiver, even a running back. Good size, and he can see the field and make big plays happen for Ryan. He finished with I think 18 carries for 160 yards on the ground, couple touchdowns, but Micah Hudson did not disappoint either. 100 yards of total offense. And if you have a chance, go check out the highlight reel put together. He had a couple touchdowns, the only scores for Lake Belton, and when it came to offense, he was the straw stirring the drink for the Broncos.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought that score line was interesting more so than, I mean, I could see Denton Ryan winning going into that game, surely, but I think the score line was pretty eye opening because I know Micah got his yards, but they did a good job of limiting an explosive Lake Belton offense to pretty limited points.
Well, and I'll say this, that D line, Ryan's D line, I saw them earlier in the year against the Colony, and they got whipped. The Colony was a more physical team, and that was very much not the case la- last Friday. They came out, they played with a different attitude. They got a young defensive line, and they were swarming all over the Lake Belton offense. Lake Belton didn't have a whole lot of time to make things happen. And there were a couple of big calls early that went Ryan's way. There was an interception where Micah Hudson he got held coming off the line, and they Denton Ryan was able to go up and get an interception in the end zone. And then there was another one where there was a fumble that could have gone the other direction, that were big momentum turners, and helped keep Lake Belton in the hole, a 2-score hole for the entire game. But Ryan was definitely playing on a different level, and looked like the team that deserved to win and in the end.
Well, for me, I started my week last week on Thursday at Huffman Hargrave High School to see Jasper take
Mm,
on Columbia, and I have never covered a game where it rained the way that did in that Jasper game. From the time I got there at about 5 o'clock until I left the stadium at 10:30, it was a steady, moderate to heavy rain the entire
mm.
time. It never slowed down. So obviously, it made for some sloppy football, especially in the first half. Jasper goes into the break with a 7-6 lead, and then they come out and outscore uh, Columbia 28-6 in the second half for Coach Kendrick Comedy's first win as head coach at Jasper in his
There you
second
go.
year. Anthony Smith was awesome, and he's played awesome through the back half of the season. 14 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and an interception all over the field, and really becoming a student of the game. I've talked, if you're an avid TexAgs listener or reader, you know that he has become very close with Torian York.
Mm.
He likes to model his game and his approach to the game like Torian York, and it's starting to show. I mean, he was calling out plays before they happened. There was a number of instances where Columbia was getting ready to run to one side of the field, and it almost looked like Anthony was running that direction before the ball was snapped. So
Nice.
his
Yeah.
film study was clearly on point this week, and he had a good idea of what he was looking at from the linebacker position. But Jasper, they're so big and talented, and they get the ball rolling in the right direction. They're going to be a problem in 4A Division II, and they got a big time game with Waco Connolly, who I saw on
Ooh,
Friday night in
there you
Bryan.
go.
And really, Waco Connolly kind of let Giddings hang around for
Mm,
about a half. And Waco Connolly's got like a three-headed monster. Okay. They've got
yeah,
Kiefer Sibley at running back. They've got Kobe Black.
love
He's
him.
a 5-star cornerback, but plays both ways. And then they got a young athlete quarterback by the name of Jam Vincent. And Sibley is out. Sibley's been out, and he will be out for another 3 or 4 weeks with an injury. And
Mm,
so it was really a two-headed monster for Connolly, and both of those guys stepped up in a huge way. I think Jamarion Vincent had a passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns, a fumble recovery, and an interception because he played quarterback and safety. Kobe
mhm.
Black had an 84-yard touchdown catch. He ran the ball out of the backfield. He had an interception at corner, and just flashed those tools and that skill set that make him such a highly coveted recruit,
Yeah.
and a deserved, on that borderline. Some people have him as a 5-star, but he's definitely one of the top players in the state of Texas. No question in my mind after seeing him on Friday night. But yeah, Waco Connolly kind of ends up pulling away toward the end of the game from Giddings there, and then you have a now a second round matchup between Jasper and Waco Connolly, and that's going to be super intriguing to watch because, man, if Jasper, they're big up front, they're athletic with
Mhm.
their ball carries. They put Anthony Smith back there. Anthony also rushed for a touchdown there on Thursday night in the rain out of a Wildcat formation. Really a pretty intriguing game for me in 4A Division II there. this coming week. Jason, we got to get around the state a little bit
Yeah.
and talk about some scores. Is there anything in Dallas that stood out to you in terms of first round upsets or score lines or just anything that caught your eye?
Well, I had Louisville going, coming out of that Region One, there in 6A D1, and Allen knocks them out in the first round. It was a Thursday night game, so it was sloppy in the weather conditions, and there were no second half touchdowns. And I want to say, uh, Allen's Allen got a safety early in the game that kind of made the difference. So that was a big one. Allen pulls off the upset over Louisville, and they get Martin this week, as I mentioned. That's one to watch. You texted me about this Cedar Hill Pflugerville Weiss game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I did not see that coming. Cedar Hill has been steadily improving, and they have some talent and are doing some things down there. But I didn't see 62 to nothing on the road against a really talented and strong Pflugerville Weiss team. And then I'll throw out Wakeland over Mansfield Timberview. Timberview was a very popular pick to come out of that region as well and be a state championship contender. But they go out in round one with a 21-18 loss to Frisco Wakeland.
All right. Well, there are some scores from around the state, and I want to start in the
Yeah.
Hill Country with a few. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest one we got to talk about: Lake Travis 13, Austin Vandergrift 10. I
Absolutely.
mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people had Austin Vandergrift going to a state final there in 6A Division Two. Converse Judson 3-7 going into the playoffs. They win their first round game over San Antonio Clark 27-7. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
see that one coming. And then one more out there in Central Texas, San Antonio area. I think we had the winner pick correctly, but it was an incredible game by all the accounts I was able to find on Twitter. San Antonio Johnson 36, New Braunfels 31. Did you see the game-winning throw that my guy Ty Hawkins made? Just
Yeah. Just
sensational, man. It's that kid's ability to create off
Mhm.
schedule is pretty special. And again, we talked about it, I think, last week on our in-home visit. Just I'm a huge fan of that kid. I think that was a great eval and early offer by TCU, and to get him in the boat, I think he's a really special player. So San Antonio Johnson moves on. In Houston, I got a few. Clear Springs 36, Shadow Creek
All
7.
right.
Holy crap, man. Like I did not see that coming at all. Shadow Creek's got athletes coming out of their ears, and I'd have to start asking around about what happened, because it's not crazy to me that Clear Springs won, but
Yeah.
to win by 29 points, that's a pretty eye-opening game. Then there was some just fantastic back and forth affairs. You talk about Pearland 16, Dickinson 14, Klein Kane 50, Bridgeland 49, Texas A&M
Now,
baseball commit
didn't that
Blaine Bullard
Pearland game go into like
4 or
several
5
overtimes?
overtimes, and it was only
Yeah.
16-14.
Good Lord.
Klein Kane Bridgeland was also overtime game. Was saying Texas A&M baseball commit Blaine Bullard at receiver just went absolutely crazy. I think it was 7 receptions for 250 yards, set a school record for yardage in a game. And there was one more that I had circled here in Houston. Oh, Fort Bend Ridgepoint 49, Katie Tompkins 44. It's another 2025 quarterback that I like, Jason, that's
Mm.
making huge plays in
Yeah.
Austin Carlisle
You've
for
been
the
on him.
Ridgepoint Panthers. All right, man. So what's your plan for this week, and what are you looking forward to?
Well, I am gonna hit. Well, I'm going to Melissa on Thursday to see Texarkana Pleasant Grove take on Cato Mills, and on Friday I've got Frisco Lone Star and new versus new Texas A&M offer, uh, Mr. Javion Osborne, 2026 running back out of Forney and Allen, and then we'll see what happens Saturday night. But I'm looking at that South Oak Cliff Melissa game at the Star in
There
Frisco.
you go.
So
I'd be
yeah,
there.
yeah,
I'd be there.
that's I've seen it before. I got a feeling it's going to be a back and forth, but I think Sock's got what it takes to pull it out. Um, but uh, but yeah, it's going to be a fun battle. So
Yeah, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do on Saturday either, but I may be going to a game. But Thursday, kind of a thin slate in Greater Houston, but I do want to go see. I'm going to go see Lumberton against Needville and Katy. Lumberton's got Brock Jackson, some interesting underclass players, but Brock Jackson's their star, kind of a two-way player committed to Baylor, and Needville's got a really talented pair of 2025s in Keelan Sweeney and Deshaun Burton. I really like Burton as a running back prospect there for the Blue Jays. And then on Friday night, going right down the road to College Station High to see the Cougars host another new Texas A&M offer in Hunter Andrews. Now, Hunter's been offered for about 2 or 3 weeks now and has made multiple trips to Texas A&M, and it's a kid we're keeping an eye on. Even with all the stuff going on at A&M, I think the Aggies got a chance to get him. So I haven't seen him play. I've heard nothing but fantastic things, and so that should be a big-time matchup, Magnolia against College Station. I'm expecting some points.
Absolutely. Should be a fun, action-packed weekend for both of us.
Yep, and we're getting to the nitty-gritty, man, and I don't know about how there are some really good matchups in this round, but the round 3 slate looks like if all the favorites hold this week and nobody gets upset, the round 3 matchups across the state look like they could be it could rival any playoff weekend that we've seen in a while, because I think that there's a ton of intrigue if all these favorites manage to handle their business on this weekend.
I tell you what, you're exactly right. But shoot, I know, like, I'm just proud of myself that none of my state championship picks got taken out in round 1.
Well, we got hey, we didn't even say Hitchcock loses in round 1 to Little River Academy.
And that was one that I picked preseason and still had a number of some very high thoughts of going into round 1, and Katie even picked them. I mean, so yeah, that's a big loss there. And I was gonna say, I've got Anna picked in that 4A Division 1. They've got a big one with China Spring this weekend.
Yeah.
So that could be they could be looking, at upset. And they had a tough one in round 1 that saw all their points come from pretty much one player in a 16-0 win over Wilmer Hutchins. So again, that was a Thursday night, so I'm giving the weather some credit there, but yeah, you gotta fight through it, and I'm looking for Anna to come up big for me.
All right, that's it. Round 2 on deck for Jason Howell. I'm Ryan Brauninger. Thanks for tuning in to the in-home, not the in-home visit, the TexAgs High School Football Show.